Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh yeah! Get your dollar bills out, everybody!
Oh, I love this song so much.
Welcome to AfterBuzz TV. I am Tom Connolly, and this is Supernatural After Show, Season 10, Episode 2. What is this, how you say it?
Reichenbach?
Yeah. Yeah. Sitting next to me, Katie Campbell. How you doing, Katie?
I'm good.
Staying up in your chair?
Yes.
You good to go?
Yes,
okay.
hopefully it doesn't fall.
Sitting across from us, Lyndsey Wegner. How you doing, Lyndsey?
Hey guys, I'm good. How are you?
Good. And sitting next to her, Mikaela Phillips.
Hey you guys, how's it going?
Are we all excited about this episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all like this episode even more than last week's episode.
Yeah.
A lot happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot more, I think, action-packed, and I think we're going to have a lot to talk about this week.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I looked up what the name of the episode means. Mm-hmm. It says a feeling of intense dark emotion, usually dealing with grief, sadness, abandonment, uncertainty, and occasionally anger. A similar term, gutted.
Well, I kind of feel Reichenbach right now.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Not really, guys.
but yeah, there was a lot of things I wasn't expecting to happen in this episode happened.
Yeah.
With, interactions between a lot of people that I was not expecting to see. I mean, especially off that preview we had last week that really did nothing.
It didn't tell us too much.
No.
I think that actually did it a justice even though maybe, because we wouldn't have gone into it with a preconceived idea, and we really enjoyed the episode, didn't we, you guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that, we didn't really see anything that we were going to see this week.
There's a method to those short little previews. But I agree with you about not thinking that these things that happened in this episode would have happened in tonight's episode.
Yeah.
Like later on in the season maybe, but we saw a lot of stuff happen.
I feel like that gives the show more of an opportunity to take it somewhere else than what we had maybe even originally predicted even last week with what was going to happen. I had said that I thought that Crowley was going to end up being with Dean and Hell ruling over Hell together, and clearly right now they're just either throwing us a major curveball, but it makes me go, what's going to happen next week and the week after, and so forth.
I'm excited.
I am too.
Yeah.
I think we all are definitely excited. And my prediction last week was killed in the first 2 seconds of the episode. We find out that Dean killed Cole's dad, what was it, 12 years ago?
13 years ago.
It was in 2003.
Yeah.
He was 13. It was 11 years
That's
ago.
true.
Yeah, and we don't know why Dean killed his dad. We don't know if he was a demon or had some kind of deal or something.
But I thought about that, and when he showed him that he was a demon later on in the episode, he was taken aback. He's like, what? He did not expect something like that. So was his dad really a demon? What happened
I
there?
think that's a really good point.
It's before the series even started. So we don't know what happened that year before we meet Sam and Dean 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
yeah,
we can't even place it with something saying, okay, well, when Dean was a demon before, when Sam was doing this, we don't even have that opportunity because it was before the series even existed. So they're going to have to take us back into a flashback.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I want to know what happened beforehand.
Yeah, I want an episode about that, or at least some part of an episode. We need to see why, Dean killed this guy.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys think that Cole was going to stick around to be in a couple more episodes, or did you think that he was going to be killed off fairly quickly? Mikaela, what do you think?
Thanks for asking. But I also, I thought it was, like you're saying, an ongoing kind of guest starring character for Cole. But now, they've thrown this kind of into the spanner in the works, I'm kind of thinking maybe he will leave, but I definitely think there's a lot that hasn't been told about Cole's character, so I think that will make him stay around And I think like what we were just saying, we'll kind of flash back to that and see what's going to happen with that. Because I did think what you guys were saying, that maybe the father of Cole was a demon.
Yeah, I mean, and we did see later in the episode that he was in that library trying to find books on demons. So he's definitely, getting into that hunter mode now of what are these things, what is out there. And even in the very first scene where, we seen Sam and Cole's like beating up Sam and, trying to get Dean's whereabouts out of him. And he's like, no, there's real monsters. And he's like, no, I've been on, to Iraq and all this other kind of stuff, and he's like, I've seen monsters, and Sam's like, no, like vampires.
And he just like rattled them all off.
And he's like, no, there's not. Like, he was really in denial of it the whole time.
I think that Cole is still gonna be a part of this
major
story.
central character,
especially with the end. He wants all the books on demons, like you just mentioned, and I think it's interesting to have a hunter role in this whole storyline, like throw that into it, besides the fact that Dean's a demon and there's other issues going on. So
I think sometimes we get so used to people being killed off, and especially women in the show. We get so used to that happening in the episode or in the next episode that you don't expect them to stick around. So I didn't think that he was even going to stick around this next. I thought he would have been killed this episode.
Yeah. I agreed with you. Yeah, I thought once the fight ensued, I thought
like he's
gone.
He's a goner.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely thought he was going to be dead. But yeah, so Dean, hanging out in strip clubs, because what else is he going to do? I guess when he is not out killing people. And I thought it was a really cool, we said, transition shot of Dean fighting the bouncer and then them cutting to Sam getting beat up by Cole.
Yeah. I like that transition.
Yeah.
Great transitions and great acting between Cole and Sam too, because him getting so upset and like you said with the demon thing and him saying, it's really a demon. That how he built it. It really was. You really felt it, didn't you?
Yeah, and you could see the terror when he took that hammer to Sam's knee. Like you could just see that he was shaking, and you could see like, oh my God, something. I was scared. I was really nervous.
Yeah, I thought, man,
they told us to quiet down.
Yeah, first his arm, now his knee. But yeah, so Sam ends up escaping from Cole because Cole.
But he planned it. He planned it.
You think Cole planned?
Oh, do you think?
I do.
That's a really interesting point, Katie. So that was literally like his plan all along. So kind of Dean gets that he's here and gets where he's coming from and see where he can go with that.
Well, and he knew Sam would find Dean.
Right, because he was trying to convince him to, join me and find, attacking Dean, and he wasn't going for that. And he noticed that Dean said, you do whatever you want with him. It's his problem now. So he's like, how else can I find Dean? By letting Sam go and just trailing him.
That's brilliant, Katie. I didn't even think of it at the time, but now it totally makes sense.
No, I just thought he was like, another, kind of dumb guy where he tries to capture the, how many times do we see them getting captured? And, they always get away somehow because the guy gets distracted and he went outside to talk on his phone, all that kind of stuff. So
this guy's been planning for 10 years now.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
He's had a long time to plan it. But actually, if I can add just quickly, I think what's really interesting adding to the plot is that they've brought in a hunter that isn't Sam or Dean themselves.
And he's not even a hunter, really.
Technically, he isn't either. So, he is out for revenge. Like you said, he has had time to plan this. But I guess we can call him a hunter for now.
Yeah. Well, into
one. Well, he's hunting a demon now, so he really is becoming a hunter. I just like the whole, all those scenes were really good leading up to that. And then we get the Crowley and Dean at the bar saying, basically Crowley kind of saying like, are you going to pick a side or like, what are you going to do with, what are you doing, Dean? Like, I know you need to kill, like you have that rage in you and like.
The mark needs to be fed.
Yeah. Like that's death is his drug now and that's, or is his like addiction, which I thought was cool. And it's really showing that what that mark is doing to Dean. Like, because I didn't think that he, we knew that he needed to kill, but not that, like, I think he needs it to survive. Like, we don't know, like, what would he do if he doesn't kill?
Or doesn't have the blade, which we'll find out now. But Tom, don't you remember last season when you and I were discussing the episodes and we were saying how each episode made Dean more and more crazed and more desperate. And we were talking about building up and that it was literally like a drug addiction. And here Crowley plays into it right away and says, this is your drug. You need to kill. And so why not work together and do it the way that Crowley wants it?
But Dean doesn't want to do it that way.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't want to take orders.
Yes.
He's definitely what we see in this episode, disobeying Crowley and going against his will. You know,
I love their dialogue. I love it. I think
The
it's so
banter,
funny.
yeah.
Did any of you think for a second that Dean was going to really hurt Crowley? I mean, when I saw him push him, that made me hold my breath for a second. But did any of you guys think that he would really hurt him?
I mean, Katie, I don't really. Katie, Lyndsey, I didn't really necessarily think he was going to go that far straight away, because then there wouldn't be, I don't think, too much left for us to watch. But I definitely feel Dean is stronger than Crowley, seeing that, and since he is now disobeying him, like we've seen, I do think that now that he's stronger, that could definitely be something that he's going to use, and definitely what we've seen. I think he's stronger now than Crowley. I don't know about you guys.
Well, Crowley, too, I think he sees the danger in that. So he wanted to take the blade from him. He made, this deal with Sam. Like, I'll give you Dean if you give me that blade. So.
And, I mean, that Dean is... Or that blade.
We're doing a lot of
Dean
that.
and the blade are the only thing that can really kill Crowley now. So, I mean, Crowley letting him run free with the blade for the last couple months. I mean, Dean could have at any time just killed Crowley. So now Crowley's like, oh, crap. He isn't on my side now.
He's a killing machine.
Yeah, and he can kill me. He's the only thing that can really kill me on this. Besides, maybe Cass can.
Right.
But he's not at full power, which we will get into. But, I mean, other than that, it's, that's the only thing that can kill him on this earth. So.
And they're done. Their relationship is done. I love that
gosh.
part. How
That
he's
is so funny.
Crazy's good for a fling, but not relationship material.
That was funny.
You know what, Dean? It's not me. It's you.
Yeah.
They really give Crowley the best one-liners in the show. I
love
mean, it
it.
always comes down to it that he gets the best
Yeah.
humor.
I mean, there are so many I was trying to write them down, but it's like I can't keep up with just go back and watch everything that Crowley says, because it's gold. I'm sure writing for him has to be like the most fun thing for all the writers, because you're like, oh, I can basically kind of, like I said last week, you can just say whatever you want, and he's gonna say it, it's gonna sound awesome. But so Crowley had kind of a mission for Dean of like, okay, well, you need to feed this, urge to kill. Like, do you just want to kill a civilian, or do you want to kill someone that deserves to die? And we find Mindy Morris, who's this cheating wife who is suing her husband and wants half of his stuff. So Dean gets sent to kill her. She's at her house, and then we see her husband show up, Lester, and Dean gets in the car with her. And
With him.
With him, yeah. And basically, we find out that Lester cheated too, and he's not even that good of a person anyway, and he really just wants his stuff. So Dean does what Dean's gonna do and kills him instead.
He was whining, and Dean was saying,
And taunting him.
yeah.
He's like,
You listen to me.
Freak.
Yeah.
You're
you
gonna do what I
freak,
do.
and you do what I tell you.
How could he do that?
Like, would you
Like, are
really
you
talk to a demon?
Yeah.
Would you really?
You think he's going to give you penance? I don't think so.
He's
Listen,
like,
guys.
you work for me.
Yeah, he watches Franklin and Bash, so he knows what he's doing.
He's got an alibi.
I thought it was funny that her name was Mindy Morris, and then he talked about watching Franklin and Bash, with Zach Morris is on that
Mark
show.
Algosse.
Yeah, is on
Yeah.
Franklin and Bash, and I don't know. I don't know if it was a connection or
was,
not.
like a
but
fight they had
I
on
just thought it
that.
was funny. But yeah, so Dean kills Lester, and then that was when we got the big confrontation between Dean and Crowley, because Dean says, "Well, yeah, I killed him," and he's like, "No, I needed her soul. Like, I don't get his soul," which I think is kind of. I mean, we don't know all of the
Ins and outs.
Yeah,
Still.
of like how that all works, but I mean, I feel like Crowley was gonna get his soul anyway. Well, no, but hold on.
No,
Her soul.
He was
he was
gonna get her
supposed to.
soul, but he was gonna give his soul.
No, I thought it was him giving his
Yeah.
soul
It was
to
Lester.
Crowley.
But he was gonna get
But if he
his
dies,
wife.
then he can't give his soul because he's already dead.
Yeah.
Right.
He was
Oh.
only giving his soul if his wife was killed.
I'm like, that's kind of still
Well, because he's only giving his soul if his wife is killed, and his wife
Okay.
wasn't killed.
gotcha.
Then he
So
doesn't.
basically, if the deed's not done, it's like a no deal.
Okay, gotcha. All right, that makes sense. But I still think Crowley could have just grabbed
Taken
his
it.
soul.
It's all
Crowley.
contracts. It's all
Yeah.
contracts, really.
Yeah, I mean, what are they doing up in heaven? We were up there. I didn't look like they were doing anything up there, so I don't think they were coming to get his soul either. But yeah, I thought it was cool just to see Dean. He's really becoming such a badass now. I know you guys were like shrieking in the room every time he came on screen. At the very end when the fight came up, I mean, he did look really cool. I was like, that'd be awesome to be that. You know, he just like walked out and was like, yeah, good. I'm here to fight. I'm gonna kick your ass. Here we go.
I'm glad you said that he looked really cool.
He did.
Because I mean, we were all sitting there saying he looked hot, so that was the manly way of saying that he looked.
he looked cool.
Cool / hot.
And then we see. Let's talk about like Cass and Hannah.
Sure.
I guess I feel like they're kind of getting in this weird like almost love story relationship with them with, you know, the woman that towed the car saying like, oh, it's a good guy you got there, and she's like, oh no, that's nothing.
I think Hannah's afraid of it.
It's interesting because throughout the whole episode, you kind of see Hannah feeling these human emotions, and Cass brings it up, and he says, you know, it's a compliment. And she's like, oh, okay. And I think she feels it. And like you said, she's afraid of it. She's not really sure what that is, but she has a feeling there. I think that's interesting. Their little relationship kind of, they're building it, I think. I don't know. I mean,
it already has like a really good solid foundation to blossom, I guess.
Well, especially in him trying to heal himself, and then her coming up and helping him. You know, like that's big for him to accept that. And I thought that was a really, like we were talking about, good foundation to start them off on. And hopefully it blossoms, because I feel like they would be cute together.
It would be nice to see Cass have that, though.
Find love.
Yeah.
Because he was last season, whenever he was human, he hooked up with that girl.
Yeah.
But she was a demon.
Yeah.
Right.
So that just went sour early.
He got duped on that one.
Yeah, that just ended in like an episode. So, but yeah, and Cass has those like, I think he still has those human feelings. Like they haven't really gone, but she doesn't have those type. Like she can't.
So she doesn't really understand it.
Yeah, and I mean, can she even understand it at all? Like, could she feel for him?
I think so. I think the more that they stay down there on Earth, it's being introduced to her.
Yeah.
And I mean, when we had Daniel and Adina last episode, they were talking about they liked being human, having choices. I think they were feeling those things that humans are. So the more she's down here, she can feel them too.
Yeah.
And we didn't see them at all this episode.
No. There's still a stray angel.
Yeah, I think that he's going to go rogue for a little while. Wait, she?
No, it was her. Yeah, she got away. Yeah.
She's going to go rogue for a little while.
I think we may see. It looked like we may see her next episode in the previews. I couldn't tell if that was her or not. It was definitely someone with an angel blade, but I'm not sure if it was her or not. But yeah, so Cass is basically, like we know, he's dying. He, is really losing his energy. He, kind of just passed out on the couch. It was like
after the whole car crash.
Yeah, and then there was like a scene with him and a little girl she was trying to feed him cereal.
Well, she was she asked if he'd slept well and talked about it, and she said he doesn't. I don't really dream, and she told him about her snot rocket.
Yes.
And he's like, that's some pretty special snot, which was really adorably cute. And then she, being the little kid, then she's gained his trust. He's gained her trust. So then she hands off her cereal, because cereal is the kid's like life right there.
She's like, would you like some? Yeah.
I thought he didn't eat anymore though. But I guess, I mean, he could fake it.
Yeah. Well, you saw he just picked it up kind of slowly. So
that's true.
I wonder if Cass misses any food that he ate on Earth when he was a human.
That's a good question.
Didn't you talk about hot dogs last season?
Maybe, because he worked at that convenience store for a while. So I'm sure he ate a lot of hot dogs there. And then we find that Hannah has gone back up to heaven. And then we see a surprise return of Metatron, which I was not expecting that at all, especially this early. And she kind of, asks him to get Cass's grace, asks if there is at least some of it left. And he says, yes, but you need to let me out of here. And she's willing to let him out, but then Cass shows up and is like, no, I'm not doing that,
Go ahead, Katie.
Sorry, okay. She has feelings or something stirring up inside there, because she went to go make a deal with Metatron, and she was going to, like you said, let him out. And I mean, he was telling her that he's going to go into another universe and all these things. I did not believe a word of that.
You didn't believe it?
No.
Okay.
No way.
Did you?
I'm the trusting one over here.
Hey, he said it. He's a great liar.
I see the good in everyone. So if he really says that he's going to give it back and then leave them alone.
No.
I'm just,
I definitely think it
gonna
was
hide behind my
interesting how she
microphone.
was like making that deal, and then Cass just had to walk in and kind of ruin the whole deal that was going down. But that's what Cass is, really. That's what Cass does. He's selfless.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, Astiel came in
Astiel, yes.
to ruin it. And he said, he's not making a deal. He made so many deals out of desperation before and to get power back, and he just doesn't want it, and he'd rather die than, and, live out his life however much longer he has than make a deal with an angel in Metatron.
I think one of the great things about that scene, too, is hearing Castiel say that seeing you or knowing you're up here is my happy place. Mm-hmm. So as long as you're up here, I'm going to be in my happy place. Even though Metatron said at some point he'll escape, whether it's a century, whether it's a millennium, he's going to get out at some point and kill everybody.
Yeah. See, there, his true colors came out.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would true colors. So maybe if they let him go, maybe he really would go to another universe and not hurt anybody anymore.
No.
Not Metatron.
I don't know. I have a hard time believing
I think you may be alone on this
I think we would
one,
like to believe that, Lyndsey.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Plus, he's such a good character. I wouldn't want him to leave, right?
That's true. It was nice to have him back on the screen in the episode.
Oh, I have a good prediction for later. But
Oh, me too. Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, he did tell Cass. He says, when I get out, everybody dies. So I mean, that's like angels, humans, everyone's gone except for him, which is kind of what he wanted last season. He wanted heaven by himself. And then I think he came back and was like, "This is boring. I'm just out hanging here by myself. Like, what am I doing?" So then we get the big, confrontation because Crowley says, "Dean, it's over." He finds Sam and says, "I know where he is. Here, go get him. He's your problem now. I don't want him anymore." So Dean's sitting at this bar. Sam shows up. And we saw before that Dean cuts his hand and it heals, and he's flashing back to Crowley saying "Are you human? Are you a demon? You need to pick a side." Yeah.
I think he's reflecting on that because he doesn't really know. He's having these feelings of both, and he's trying to figure it out internally while having this, external, I'm a demon and that's all I don't care.
I definitely agree with that, Katie. I think he has that inner turmoil definitely going on right now, and he does need to pick a side, or is that still in him? I think it's still in him, that kind of human Dean. Because we've seen some parts of it where there's that emotion that cuts through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a question for you guys. But with other demons that we've seen, they've always just been evil, bad. Why is Dean so conflicted?
I think maybe with having a family, I don't know how long those demons are demons. This is still brand new to Dean. So maybe because it's still new to him, those feelings haven't completely taken over yet.
Right.
And he's able to control them. And after everything he's seen and gone through and seen all the bad in the world and done the good to get rid of the bad, maybe for him it's a little bit different than somebody who's a brand new demon. They always say young vampires have no control. Where older vampires, once they know they can control themselves on when they need to feed and stuff. So even though he's still a young demon and new to this, I think he still remembers all of the good in the past, especially with Sam and them being brothers and just really sharing all this amazing bond. It's hard for him to genuinely pick one side or the other.
Yeah,
and he
I
just
agree
is
with that.
trying to play off being a badass.
Right.
Also, what might have to do with it is the fact that he's been turned into a demon a different way, perhaps, than a lot of other demons have been changed. Maybe that might have something to do with it, because it's the mark of Cain. But not all demons have been turned or been like that.
Katie and Tom, what do you guys think?
You want to go first?
Well, I agree with, I think that's interesting about the Mark of Cain situation, but I think that you are also correct with the fact that they fought evil for so long and they were trying to do the good, that's, conflicting in his own mind with what's, what he should do. Should he just completely forget being a human and having all those feelings, or not? That's his turmoil in his own head. Yeah,
I know. I just posed the question just because I was like, it's weird that he has those feelings still of being human and can flip back and forth when it just seems like everybody else that is a demon is just like, I want to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Not that he doesn't think that anyway, because he does have that rage inside of him, but I think the rage is more of the mark too. That feeds that too, feeds that into him. So they're at the bar, and Dean or Sam tells Dean, Crowley sold him out, and Dean's like, yeah, not a surprise there. And Sam says something that I feel like we've kind of talked about it last season too. Like he was like, we know how to cure demons. And he's like, yeah, you say some Latin, blah, 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 lots
Latin
of blood.
and a lot of blood.
Yeah. Which is kind of weird that Sam didn't just try to do that in the first place. Like when he, just kind of busted in and tried to do that at first. But I don't know. I mean, I guess he wanted to talk to him.
Wanted him to go willingly, maybe.
Yeah.
Thought that maybe he would make the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was just one of those things where it's like there is a way for him to, for Dean to come back.
To return, yeah.
And I think we were talking about it last week of like, is there a way for him to get back? There is a way to get that demon out of Dean, but I also feel like it needs the mark has to go too. So to get the mark off of him is going to be the challenge. Like you can kind of get maybe the demon out of him, but the mark, that's going to be the challenge of, I think, Sam for this season.
Yeah, transferring that to another, like we said last time, set of brothers. Yeah,
or does it have to be a set of brothers, or at least someone worthy enough to take it, right?
Somebody worthy to take
or
it,
willing to take it.
Yeah,
because Dean was willing to take it. Yeah,
but wasn't it too because they were connected with Cain and Abel?
That's what we were saying, because it was a brother relationship, that it had to be something like that, where the brother kills the other brother. That's what happens in Cain and Abel.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe
it could potentially happen here.
Yeah, and maybe they could. I don't know. Find a way. I'm sure they could find a way around it if they really needed to.
We were all discussing too that I think that Dean's acting is just, it's so spot on and amazing. Seeing him act this way, you were saying there's like this sexy confidence about him, and just this pure evil, but it's confidence.
Yeah,
it's just so
it's
awesome
very confident
to watch.
Very, and his arrogance has stepped up a notch too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's very talent. It's just talent.
Yeah,
and there is a sexiness about it.
It comes so naturally
so
to it.
Yeah,
so naturally.
He thinks it's sexy too.
So sexy too.
We're convincing you, Tom.
but it's nice to get him to see play this side.
Yeah. Well, I think he's, this is season 10, so they know these characters inside and out. Like nobody could ever play these characters besides these two actors.
Yeah.
So, and he's been playing this, at least last season, leading up to this kind of turn to be this other, this completely, he is like Dean, but just turned up to like volume, to 11, and everything that Dean ever wanted to do, this Dean can do, be it with girls or whatever, any, killing people and just having that confidence to, as we see in the fight scene now, because Cole shows up at the bar and smokes them out of the bar, and Sam gets knocked out, and we see the fight scene, and Cole's like, don't you remember me? And Dean's like, no. He's like, I don't even know who you are.
He's like, you're that guy from that thing.
I remember we spoke about that last week, and we were kind of like, well, will he remember that? And I guess that answered our question.
Yeah.
I thought he was a groupie.
Yes. A Dean Winchester groupie.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, great. Like another guy that wants to kill me. All right, join the list. And so the fight kind of ensues, and Dean just kicks his butt.
Deflects for a long time. Literally allows the guy to try and hit him, and just he's like, okay, it's like, a puppy.
Yeah.
Puppy coming up to you. It's really not going to do anything.
Yeah, and then Cole got down to do some karate, and he's like, do you know kung fu? And he's like, I know everything. But Dean was just too fast and just too overpowering to even Cole didn't touch him at all. Until the very end of the fight, where first he has a gun. He's like, well, go ahead, shoot me. And I really wanted him to shoot him at first, because I was like, I wanted Dean to just, get up and be like, yeah, bullets don't do anything to me. But I thought what they did was even better, where, he cut his face, and as Dean's holding him,
it's healing.
It heals. which is awesome, like special effect that they did.
Yeah.
Showing that he's a demon.
I love that stuff when they show that.
And then he flashed
I'm like
his
a
eyes
sucker.
too.
Yeah,
flash eyes.
Yeah, and that just freaked Cole out, and he was like, "What are you like?" Because that was, for him, this is the first time he's seeing anything like this. And I don't know if it was me and that happened to me, and some guy, or flashed his eyes and they went black and they came back, I'd be like, oh crap, I am gonna die right now.
Well, because he at first when they started fighting, he said, "You're really good, but I'm better," because he thought he had all this training. He's fought in these wars.
Yep.
He knows kung fu, everything, but it's no match for a demon, and he didn't know that until that moment.
And he said he was training the last half of his life for this fight.
Can't blame him for not knowing because Sam tried to warn him. And I think one of my favorite comments that Dean made was when Dean was like, "Weren't you trying to hurt my brother?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was trying to get your brother." And he's like, "Well, did you miss?"
Yeah.
I thought you were going to shoot him in the head. Did you miss?
I know.
I mean, just taunting the guy like, "You're not going to be able to do anything to me. I control you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snap, snap.
Mm-hmm. He was like, "You're done." So then, Dean has him up against the car. He's gonna kill him. He takes out the blade, but he lets Cole go. And I'm trying to now. I'm like in my notes trying to look back. But did he say anything to him about letting him go? Like, oh no, because then Sam came up and then hit him with the holy water.
Yeah.
But he didn't say anything to him about. Oh, because he was like, didn't he say just kill me?
Yeah. He
Like
was
Cole
like,
said that?
do
Yeah.
it.
And he was just like, no, I'm not gonna.
Well, I thought he was showing him mercy, and I thought that might have been another human, trait that Dean had right there. But then he mentioned in the car later with Sam that he was like, that was worse than killing him. And now he can know that he, spent all this time building up for this moment and trying to kill the guy that killed his father, and he didn't. The one shot that he had. But I also think that he might just be putting that front up. Because he's trying to say, okay, I have no human emotions. Like, no, I'm just a demon.
Right, because if Sam sees that, he'll definitely be able to use that. And no, there's a weakness there. I can kind of use this to save my bro.
Right.
But if you were Cole and you had just been beaten up by a demon, would you really go hunting after that? I mean, literally?
I think I would want some answers. If I saw a demon in front of me, I would want to do some research, and he seems like he is out for revenge. He's been out for revenge for years.
For quite a while.
So...
And we got to see, when he, asked, "What are you?" Dean was like, "I'm a demon." Like, not a human anymore. I'm a demon. Which I thought was like a cool big reveal of him picking sides, kind of, at least in his mind.
for the front.
Yeah.
For now.
This episode he's a demon. Next episode, I'm not sure what it'll be.
So Sam has him cuffed in the back seat without the angel blade. Crowley's taking the angel blade.
No, the Mark.
Well, yeah, the blade.
Or the blade.
That blade. Or
that
that
blade. Not the angel blade. The first blade. The first blade. The first
Yes.
blade. Thank you. He's got the first blade now, so even though Dean still has these powers and stuff, he cannot be as powerful without that first blade.
Which I think is going to be really interesting going forward, because doesn't he need that blade to kill? Like, isn't that going to
it's
feed
like
the
part
mark?
with him.
Like, yeah, it's just he needs it. Like, I think.
Well, it feeds the mark. Like, they've said that point a lot, but also Cain was surviving without it. He didn't want to be near it.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So
yes, he didn't have it. Yes, it was
There's some
gone.
way that he can survive without it, and he's not as built up with all this rage.
Yeah. Okay. That I forgot he didn't have the blade, and Crowley had to go find it. So yeah, it does make sense that because I was like, oh, he's gonna be like hunting after, searching for it now. And do we think Crowley's really gonna hold the blade somewhere?
Well, what do you mean, like he won't use it? Or?
Like, do you think Crowley's gonna go hide it, or do you think once him and Dean get back together, he's gonna be like, here you go, buddy?
Reinstate it.
Yeah.
I think he'll hide it.
I agree with Katie.
Yeah.
I think
he's
if
gonna
Crowley
hide it.
is as smart and devious as he is, then that would be the best thing for him to do, to hide it.
Well, he wants to protect himself as well, and he doesn't want that possibility of Dean getting it and killing him.
Oh yeah.
So I think he's gonna hide it. He's gonna know where it is. It's gonna be extremely hard to find, but he's gonna hide it.
I don't know. See, I think he's gonna hide it, but I think it's maybe like an overall like part of this plan, because I think Crowley knows that Dean will not be by his side if Sam is alive. And I think Crowley needs to get Sam and Dean together so that Dean can either,
So it's more willingly?
either Dean kills Sam and is like, okay, I just need, you're done.
That would be
like,
huge.
Yeah. Or Sam does something to Dean to, piss him off enough to kill him, which we kind of see in preview that they're like
going at
yeah,
it.
they're like he's trying to find him and basically kill him.
Dean
it
is hunting
like
Sam
next week. Yeah, in the bunker. But I think it's like part of a overall like storyline of they're putting up a front as much as Dean's putting up a front of being a demon when he's trying to kind of be human. I think it's still just Crowley's not dumb when it comes down to it. Like he plans 10 steps ahead when I think Sam planned for the next day.
I do think you make a good point there though, Tom, with how Crowley would go about the blade, because even though I agree with what we're saying that he will hide it, Sam did give it over quite easily, and that generally doesn't happen, and Crowley kind of got his way, so it makes you then think, why has he gotten his way that easily, and what is his plan with it? So I definitely agree with both. So maybe what he's going to do with it is still hiding it, but how it'll then come back into play, that'll be very interesting. Yeah. And devious, knowing Crowley.
To me, I just thought it was, I don't know, what did you guys think of that? Do you think it's anything, do you think I'm just blowing smoke and just saying something crazy, or I don't know?
For the blade?
Yeah.
I like what I just said.
Yeah, I agree that he is 10 steps ahead all the time, so he probably does have some kind of plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was handed over him too easily.
It was too easy.
Like, it was such a big storyline last year of them trying to get to that blade and find it, and now
days
it's just
he was gone from episode, or weeks he was gone from episodes because he was out looking for the blade. Yeah. So but he also now has it, so if he does hide it somewhere, he can get it in a day.
But I just think Sam handed it over too easily. That was just too I don't know, that was just a weird move by Sam.
Sam is really desperate to have Dean back and get him back to normal.
I think that's what it is, desperation.
I mean, kind of the idea that we got from Castiel where he's like, I'm not desperate enough to do that. This is the juxtaposition that we're seeing. We're seeing the opposite side of it. Sam is so desperate, he's willing to do whatever it takes. And we'll get into predictions after.
Okay. Yeah. So then we, then we see Crowley with Lonely Girl playing in the background.
Oh my gosh. Funny.
That picture, if you haven't seen it, it's him and Dean wearing cowboy hats.
It was hilarious. It like they did break up. It was a relationship ending.
And then we have Sam and Dean in the car, back on the road again, like most episodes end. And Sam saying, I think you took mercy on him, letting him live, and Dean was like, no, like you said earlier, like, no, I let him live because I want him to know that I kicked his ass. And he can't beat me. Yeah. That's what he was basically saying. Like, he's like, no. And he's like, and I'm not going to give you any mercy either, Sam, when I get my hands on you.
Which is actually pretty brilliant when you think about it. This is the best thing. This is the best way to strike fear into Sam, to let him go and just let him be. Yeah. And it's the best thing that he can do for the guy. I'm not a vengeful person, but if I was, I would do the exact same thing that Dean did by literally kicking the crap out of him and then letting him live, to think that, you've been training for this your whole life and
you failed.
You couldn't have done anything about it.
Even if you tried.
Yeah.
Which he did.
Did you guys catch that too? That while they were in the car, Sam was like, "This car is dirty," and he's like, "It's just a car."
Yep.
And he's like, "Just a car? Wow."
He's like, he did go dark, and he's like, "Yeah," but I don't think it was. Is it their car that they always have? I think it's a different car.
I don't know. All I know is I'm missing the Impala episodes.
I thought it was. I mean, I know we didn't see it at all in the first one, but I thought just because of that whole, conversation,
maybe it was then. Okay.
Well, that'll be interesting though to see then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if the fans out there know, if it was their, the original car, then let us know. Because I thought it was just a car that he took, and then was just like, well, I don't care, it's just a car. Like,
right,
it's not.
because they showed him like for the car that was like for sale, and there was a truck. It was like a truck, right?
Well, I think that was how Sam got to Dean.
Yeah.
I think he stole that truck.
But then did he use that again? Or
No, because it was in the car.
It was
when he gave her the blade. That's when you can. We'll have to go back and look. Yeah. That's when you can tell, because it was daylight, and Sam or Dean was in the back of the car. So I think it was the original car.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was a good point to pick up on, because that was his baby. Yeah. Now he's like, I don't care. I don't need it anymore. Just gets me around. And then we get, next week it looks like Dean is hunting Sam in the bunker.
Yep.
Crowley is off doing his own thing. Cass is
on his way, hopefully back to Sam and Dean.
Yeah. Which I don't get how you can he just snap and be there?
I mean, maybe
get there faster.
Because of the grace.
Yeah.
He needs that probably. Perhaps.
Yeah. But I mean, that's it for at least what we saw. But do we want to get into some news real quick that we have?
Yes, we have news to share with y'all.
We do.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, guys, if you go, I tweeted out earlier, and I think I added all you guys. So if we all retweeted, Yael Teagle, she did some interviews this past summer at San Diego Comic-Con with Jared, Jensen, Jeremy Carver, Castiel. I'm trying to think of his name. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Misha. And I think there's somebody else too.
Was it Mark Shepard?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. So check those out. And I think they may be on the AfterBuzz site. If not, follow Yael on Twitter too, because I know she probably has them on there. And I think her website is yael.tv. I'll tweet it out too.
If you follow our Twitters, then you'll have her Twitter, so you guys can get to it for sure.
But yeah, so they're really good interviews, really fun. So check those out. She made a clear point that we need to tell you all about these interviews.
It's awesome.
Because they're awesome, yeah.
She's got a selfie with Jared.
Yes.
We all want to see that, so come on.
We all want a selfie.
I mean, if you guys are watching Jared, Jensen, we want selfies.
There's a nice couch right here you can come sit on whenever you want.
I'll bring you beer, I promise.
But I guess we do want to get into predictions then?
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Mikaela,
wants
do
to
you
go
want to
first?
start?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'm going to start with Cass.
Okay.
I actually really loved the scene with him and the kid in the house where he was kind of like working off with the dream. This probably will not happen, but I would love to see Cass integrated with more kids. I don't know if that could even be a way how he gets his grace. Like, not stealing it from them. That would be horrible.
That would be
like,
awesome.
Somehow, if he does like a good deed, I don't know if that's like enough for it to replenish his grace, but I don't know. I just really love seeing Cass with kids. It was like a really cute moment with the little girl. And then also touching on Cass as well, with the grace, I definitely think seeing as like he's not willing to replenish it and like go after it because he's selfless and he doesn't want to kind of steal it. What we were talking about also last week. Maybe the question we should be asking is, how is he going to stay alive? Is there a way he can stay alive without replenishing the grace? Like, what is he willing to do that side of things? I think that's going to be interesting for his character. And then my other prediction is for Metatron. There was that scene in the jail where he was all like to Hannah, oh, it might take 1,000,000 years, it might take a millennium. But even though he's saying that, what if that's sooner rather than later? And what if he actually gets free or breaks free somehow? And I definitely think that might happen. Even though he's going on and being like, oh, it's a millennium or years later, I think Metatron might break free. I don't know what you guys think. What do you think, Lyndsey?
I feel like obviously they're bringing Metatron back early in the season because there's going to be more of a plot line for him. So I feel like we'll get more from him, where I wouldn't have figured us to go back to his storyline at least for a few more episodes. So maybe there is going to be something happening where he does break out so that we get something else going on, because like you said, so much has happened in this episode today with Sam finding Dean, them getting rid of the first blade, and like, so I feel like we've gotten to a good part where even last season I felt like it took 4 or 5 episodes to get to something as big as that. So it's definitely possible for Metatron to get out, and so maybe that creates another story for us to follow. I like the idea too of Cass being with kids, and that's why I almost thought when that girl was saying, are you two together, it would have almost been kind of cute if he did like that woman that they date, and then that becomes his adopted daughter. Like, so I definitely think that that's super duper.
What about Hannah?
Well, I wanted to do with Hannah, but I mean, yeah, he was really cute with that kid. But my prediction actually is that Dean is going to have to kill Sam. That's the only way with this whole Cain and Abel thing. That's going to be the only way. And Sam, therefore, will sacrifice himself to be killed by Dean. and therefore they can live separate ruling lives of heaven and hell. It's like big and major, and it scares me. I hope that doesn't happen, but I don't know. Katie,
that might definitely happen.
I agree with you there that there could be something with that happening, especially the Cain and Abel thing, but I don't want it to, because I don't want that to happen, like you said. But I can see where it could go that way. I think we're gonna see more of Cole. Learning about demons, and he's gonna come back. He's not giving up. And I think that, like you said, something with Metatron, he's gonna break out. And I really feel, though, because he was talking with Hannah about leaving and going to another universe, but when she walked away, that's when he admitted to Cass that, he wants to kill everybody when he gets out. So I think she's gonna go, because she's having these feelings, and she maybe isn't really sure what it is, but I think she's gonna go back and make the deal and get him out. I think that's going to happen.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and I really want something to happen with Cass and Hannah. I think that would be cute. That might happen later on down the line. Yeah. So those are my predictions.
But wouldn't Cass feel betrayed by her? I mean, it could. Yeah, I mean, I would like something to happen, because I think it'd be good for Cass. Like, he needs something to do. Because
he needs something to do. He's not doing it.
I mean, what do you do? I mean, it's just like on Earth, like just kind of wandering around. And when you said about if he could get his grace back, or what would happen, would he?
Right.
I just wrote down, like, would he become human? Like say he lost his grace, would he just become human again?
But he's in danger. I think that's a question too. But he's in danger of dying, right?
But maybe dying for them is then becoming human.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. We haven't really seen, like, we saw them all fall, but that was because they were cast
right. And we know some of them survived, though, like Adina.
Yeah. And we also know that Cass doesn't mind doing human-like things.
That's true.
So he's accepting of that role. So then you've got him being human and Hannah being an angel and then getting married. I mean, that's like crazy.
That is supernatural.
It's like Twilight, with Edward. Then Renesmee becomes, like the baby becomes something totally different.
Right.
So like, what would their baby would be a hybrid of an angel human. It's like craziness.
There's a word for that, isn't there? When there's like an angel has a kid with like a mortal.
But it is. Is it, or a god had back in Greek and Roman have babies with them.
Yeah, like Hercules and stuff like that. But yeah.
Sorry, back to you, Tom.
So now we predicted a wedding, a baby. There's a lot happening this season. And then I think Metatron's gonna get out because Crowley is gonna let him out.
Ooh.
Oh,
that's what I think. Because I think he,
So they'll join forces, or he'll just literally be like, "I need your help. Like, let's do this."
Do this. I mean, why? They are the two like most evil guys. So why wouldn't they just join forces to, really take care of
Which is kind of then like, well, whatever, Dean. I've got now Metatron. He's my new bestie in this plan.
And then Dean would just kill him with the plan and be like, "Well, I'm back." So, but yeah, that was my predictions, at least for going forward. And I do think I agree with you guys. I think Cole is definitely going to be around. Maybe he meets up with some other hunters or something. Kind of maybe starts his own little group to at least to learn more about them.
I have actually like a last minute prediction that kind of just came to mind. With Metatron, if he does get out, in fact, do you think that'll show then that Sam and Dean and Cass kind of then all have to work together? Because they're kind of all like working separately right now, but still like they're in contact. Like you have Sam and Cass on the phone talking. But do you guys think that would bring them somewhat together to then defend and I guess fight that Metatron?
I think what's happening is that Cass is going to help Dean not be a demon. I think that's going to become his main focus. So I think that they're going to work together, and he's going to find his way to them, and he's going to work hard to resolve that situation.
Oh, and we didn't even talk about this, but Cass found out tonight that Dean is a demon.
A demon, yes.
And that was just another big, reveal that he didn't know that Sam told him, and he was just like, I can't, he was in shock that he, kind of like, how did this happen?
Right.
What?
I mean, surely...
What's wrong with you, Sammy? Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
I was waiting for him to say that.
I'm sure, like, Cass maybe even, now that he knows, maybe Cass is the one who knows a way how to
help him.
Yeah, how to
but
help
I think he
Dean.
needs to be at full power to even do it. So I think...
But there's Hannah then.
Yeah, but I think Cass is, like, you know, more powerful than everybody. So I think maybe that will be the reason why he will get his grace back, because he needs to help Dean.
Okay, so I'm just like full of predictions right now. Can I just fit this in? What if Sam, or like Cass, I think more Sam, goes to Metatron and asks him for his help saving Dean?
I don't know if Sam can get to heaven, but that'd be pretty
well,
cool.
like Cass.
Yeah.
Because now Cass knows. I don't know. I just kind of thought of that and put it out there.
There's so many. There's so many different things that
yeah.
you can go through in your mind, and so many different scenarios. We don't know which one could happen, and that's why they leave it. The writers leave it as open as it is, so that it gives us
going on like
a chance to sit here and go, yeah, okay, so it could happen this way, you know.
And I do agree with you. I think it'd be cool to see Sam go to heaven to talk to Metatron.
Well, Dean's gonna send him there.
Well, maybe, but because I mean, there was like that secret way to get into hell, like through purgatory. Okay. So maybe there's another way to get into heaven through, I don't know, some other way. I don't know. Without
through the I don't know door.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, so I don't know. We got a lot of predictions.
Definitely.
I hope you guys enjoyed the show this week. Mikaela, where can the people find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Mickey_Phillips. That's MIKI_Phillips. And on Instagram at Mikaela Phillips. Look forward to tweeting with you guys.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lyndsey Wegner. That's LYNDSEYWEGNER. Or my blog, lyndseywegner.blogspot.com. And if you live in the Los Angeles area, come see me play Maleficent this weekend for Creating Arts Company's production of Sleeping Beauty.
Break a leg.
Thank you.
Katie, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Katie Campbell, with Katie with 3 E's, and then Instagram, Katie Campbell 13.
Awesome. And you guys can find me on Twitter at TomTheCom, and you can check me out Wednesday nights here at 10 o'clock for a main event, and each week at 11 o'clock on Tuesdays.
Supernatural.
So we will see you guys next week, and leave your comments below.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.